Hey everybody, welcome to Malt Muser Whiskey Reviews. I'm Eric. Talisker, 18 years old, single malt Scotch whiskey is on the bar for review this week. And as always on the channel, I'm going to give you a nose, taste, finish review of this whiskey. I'll tell you a bit about the value, give you my final thoughts, final score, and leave you with a malt musing. But first, a bit about Talisker and this 18-year-old Scotch. So, Talisker Distillery, located on the Isle of Skye, and depending on who you ask, this can be considered either a Highland or an Island region single malt Scotch. Talisker Distillery does use a little peat, little smoke in a lot of their whiskeys, and so that is what we expect here in this 18-year-old. So here is what the bottle's looking like. Really kind of nice presentation. Box itself, definitely letting you know it has sea influence. We'll see what that's all about, but here's what it has to say. It's the only single malt Scotch whiskey made on the Isle of Skye, besides the shore of Loch Harport in the jagged shadow the peaks of the Cuillin. Founded in 1830 by Hugh McCaskill, Talisker Distillery remains faithful to traditional values. 180 years of knowledge has been passed down through the generations, the result being this prize whiskey described as Scottish poet Robert Louis Stevenson as the king of drinks. So there you go. It does not say anything on here about chill filtration or natural colors, so we can assume that unfortunately this has got some chill filtration and colorant added to it. Bottled at 45.8% ABV. Here's the bottle. Here on the bottle it says, from the rugged western shores of the Isle of Skye comes this richly favored maritime malt with a warming afterglow. So easy to enjoy, like Skye itself, so hard to leave. Here you go. 18 years in oak casks. My understanding, ex-bourbon and French, or pardon me, European oak casks in this, but it does not say for sure. And again, it does look like it's probably chill filtered and has some coloring added. So considering this is an 18-year-old whiskey, I have had it resting in the glass here for about 20 minutes or so, letting oxygen do its magic. This is what we're looking at as color. A little bit of that orange glow there, which does usually kind of indicate the presence of some E150A. Nonetheless, we're going to dive in and I'll give you my thoughts on this whiskey. Here we go. Quite inviting on the nose. Rich toffee, honey. There are florals, there's a little bit of smoke. Maybe a slight fruit note, and if it's anything, it's apple. Spices, nutmeg, allspice. Maybe a bit of cinnamon too. Quite nice. This is a complex dram, you can tell right away off the nose. There's a little bit of a ripe red fruit note too, but it's in the background. There's no sherry in this as far as the box tells you, so. Just a hint of it. All right, let's give this a taste. Slainte. Medium balance, but yet rich. Oh. So what's interesting about this, it comes in sweet, caramel, slight confectionery. We're talking kind of those traditional bourbon notes where you're getting light caramel, honey, burnt brown sugar, slight toffee note. Then spice comes in, fierce, chili pepper, black pepper. Really tingles on the tongue. That smoke is kind of working its way around in the background. A little bit of that effervescent peat. It goes into a really nice finish. It's long, left with kind of a coffee note, a little bit of almost citrus saltiness as well. Kind of like a briny saltiness. Really hanging on vanilla caramel. This is quite a ride. Okay, I'm gonna put a bit of water on this. 45.8% ABV. Oh, maybe we'll just do like about a half teaspoon or so. Okay. Ooh. Water changes this considerably. It's much more raw. You're getting a lot more of those kind of spirity notes now. Sharp pepper, lemon lime, or lime. Again, that kind of nutmeg, allspice, maybe even a little clove. Cinnamon. It's really toned down those sweet notes on the nose. Sour, bitter. Showing themselves up a little bit here. Interesting. One more taste, here we go. Wow. Really complex. The toffee, the dry toffee, dry honey note, even maybe a little bit of like a buttercream, still heavy and present there, even with water on the development and the initial palate. It's carrying all the way through. Pepper note spice is taking a step back, which is what you usually I tend to find when you've added a bit of water to some whiskeys like this. This makes me think there's probably some European oak just because of the sharpness of that pepper note. Vanilla, a little bit of that citrus still there. Dry toffee riding it home. A bit of honey. Okay. Quite good. Here's one more look at the bottle. Value-wise, on a bottle of Talisker 18, it is not the cheapest 18-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey out on the market today. Here in the United States, average price, ballpark range in that $150, usually a little bit more. Sometimes you can get it a little cheaper. So it is not exclusive, but it's so it's going to be readily available for the most part in a decent whiskey shop, but it comes in at a bit of a hefty price. So I think this is in that moderate value range. Okay, final thoughts here on the Talisker 18 years old. For folks who have been tuned into the channel for a while, you know I'm not the biggest Talisker fan. Their profile is just not one of my favorites. That sharp pepper note kind of leaves me with kind of a tangy bitterness at the end. It's just not really been my jam, specifically on the 10 years old. But what I don't like about the 10, I'm loving about the 18. The richness, the complexity is kind of overriding that. Things are playing much more harmoniously. You're still getting that smoke, bit of the peatiness. This is just a really complex, rewarding whiskey. A lot to explore here. Definitely one that I recommend for folks who are just kind of getting into older single malt scotches, want to try something that's going to, challenge them a little bit. This Talisker 18-year-old is fantastic. I mean, even in the time I've been sitting here, I've started to get a slight tropical note. There's just a lot happening in this glass. This is a really well done whiskey. There is batch variation, of course, with any whiskey, and definitely with this Talisker 18. So, results may vary slightly based on what year you purchase this. But I think that this is a whiskey that's going to reward you every single time. Really enjoyable, especially if you're somebody who's into something with a little bit of more smoke, sharpness, aggressive whiskey. This is going to have it, but it's really nicely tamed off by a lot of complexity, specifically off that kind of like toffee bourbon notes. So delicious stuff, a lot going on here. My final score on the Talisker 18 years old is going to be a solid 4 out of 5. So I do recommend that you pick yourself up a bottle of this. And if you do, you will enjoy every glass. All right, y'all. So that wraps up another whiskey review of Talisker 18 years old. If you've yet to, hit subscribe. That way you won't miss any of my reviews, which come out every Friday. And it will keep you in the loop on my Tuesday happy hours at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Love to see you there. And until next time, I'm going to send you to your malt musing now, and we'll catch you next week. Sláinte, y'all.